we have anybody joining us? Excellent. I'm calling to order the special meeting of the Board of Selectmen for today, January 27th. Do I have today's? We must have it in the packet. Agenda. January 27th, 2025 at 4 p.m. I would like to note that we're holding it at 4 p.m. primarily because the selectmen have outside work schedules that preclude us from having it at night. Also, there's multiple other meetings tonight with which we would interfere. We felt that this meeting would be best if we could talk amongst ourselves. We do, however, want the town to know what we are discussing and that we are not trying to obfuscate. For good and welfare, I just want to announce that there was an unfortunate early passing of a young student, UConn student in town last week, and that the state police are investigating. So let's get to new business. First, we're gonna handle the conservation appointments. We had a member of the Conservation Commission who is currently a regular member resigned and is asked to become an alternate member for life situation reasons, and an alternate member who is volunteered to step up and take that regular member's spot.
Excellent.
That's what I thought. This was all put together by Kathy DeBurs, who I thank profusely for her time that she spends on that committee.
It is a powerhouse.
So the first one, I would move that we, that's the incorrect date on here, correct? So it's the 20.
It's
20.
January 27th, 25 to December 1st, 2025.
Right. So effective today and expiring, and I move to reappoint Patricia Phillips as an alternate for the term of January 27th, 2025 to December 1st, 2025. 2025, because that would be reappointing them for the next term. This is to fill out the current term.
Okay.
Do I hear a second?
I second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. I'd like to appoint Nora Jones as a regular member for the term of January 27th to 2025 to December 1st, 2025. Do I hear a second? Second that. Hearing a second, do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, now we're moving on to the probably longer portion of this meeting, and that would be the budget discussion. This is our second meeting on the budget. The first one we covered with Donna. We had a lot of unknowns, and those are now coming into focus. I noticed that we are still missing a lot of numbers. CROG returned their number and they are not changing. We did hear from, we just heard today from the now I lost my paperwork again. WRTD with what we owe there. I don't know how that changes things. Because I've lost the paper. Oh, here we go. Please excuse my disorganization. It's a 3% increase.
For WRTD.
Yeah. That's the regional transit district. So next time, we may have more numbers on those other outside organizations that you just emailed. I believe that Mid-Near our hazardous waste, I think that's gonna remain constant. I think that's at 0%. I'm not positive about that yet. We still haven't heard. We get a big break on, big break. We pay 33% of what the other towns do for our size because of we host the facility.
Yes.
And then we don't know what, Coachella, the garbage people.
Casella.
Coachella is something else, right?
Yes,
It's a music festival.
yes.
On more fun.
Probably more fun than garbage. Every different kind of waste has a different price increase. So we don't know what we're doing with that, but I think that our cardboard recycling program is probably saving us a fair amount, at least in transportation fees. So although $11 for a dumpster full of cardboard isn't money, it isn't big money coming in.
But no,
It's
it cuts it
saving
down
us
going out, yeah.
and on the going out.
Cuts a lot of loads going on.
So Donna. I'll go over the first part because I think I understand it. If I'm
Yes.
incorrect, please correct me. Wages are going, contractual increases are up 2.5%. For all the wages on the town side. US Department of Labor,
That's the result of the contract.
that's a result of our contract negotiation, yeah, 2.5%.
Yeah.
I think we did pretty well on that from a town perspective, from an employee perspective.
The employees seem okay?
Yeah, well, they approved the contract. And then our non-union employees get the same bump. US Department of Labor rule increased the threshold salary. Threshold for salary employees, which we voted on, so they're now at 58,656.
That's 4 of those, I think.
There's 4 of those that are at that minimum. We have more salaried employees that were already above that. So. The minimum wage increase, that's at least one of employee in the building here. And this lifeguards and rec employees
Oh, yeah.
is gone up. From 4.2%. We're gonna be asking that the human services assistant, that's Colleen, who's. I am in favor of this. I don't know if I need to say that or not. Hello? Did I hear voices or were those in my head?
No. Jim wasn't muted,
Oh, okay.
but now he is.
Increase her hours from 10 to 14 hours a week.
Okay.
She is our minimum wage employee in the town hall, too. Increase the Department of Public Works Administrative Assistant from 15 to 20 hours a week. And then add 0.6 full-time equivalency hours to the Department of Public Works. So it was 2 drivers plus 0.4 laborer. The new proposed would be 3 drivers and 0 laborers. So.
What does that mean? I was,
What we do right now is we have. We're. We have one 3-day-a-week worker and one 5-day-a-week worker at the transfer station. And we're not sure exactly how we're gonna do the personnel yet. But make that 2 3-day-a-week workers at the transfer station and then one 5-day-a-week worker as a driver.
so we're gonna change in the amount of work that we're doing.
The reason for this is because
Increase the number of hours.
their problem is that it hasn't happened yet, but it will. Because we are not getting people to bid on our contracts for plowing. So we're gonna have to come up with another snowplow drive. So some of this will be offset by what we're saving on contracted snowplowing. It eventually will mean that they're gonna need equipment, but I think they're good right now. This is a request, this was a request last year from Troy, and I turned them down last year, but I think that this is probably a good idea this year. Capital improvement program spending, you wanna talk to that, Donna? Is this the increase this year of 120, or was that the increase that was?
That was the increase last year, so this is year 2 of the plan.
All right. But it's the increase over 2 years ago instead of the increase over last year, right? Or don't we know yet?
It is in the plan, the increase over this year to next year.
Another 1.119 million?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, we're gonna have to take a look at that. Public Works. So tree removal is up $20,000. We are having issues with our vegetation. I mean,
It's not
just
gonna
today,
go away.
No. And it's gonna get worse here for a while as those trees that have died have started to rot.
Mhm.
I know we were looking at 2 of them on this road alone, so.
Yes.
Uh,
That's considered a safety issue.
I don't
Absolutely.
know.
I don't know. Are they?
It's a public works issue, but these are, you know. I would guess that if a tree fell across the road, when an ambulance tried to get through, it would be bad.
Or when I'm trying to get through.
Yeah.
I don't wanna get hit.
No. I'm guessing that the probability of being hit is smaller than the probability of the roads being blocked. And then having to get somebody out there and clean them up and drag the trees out. I know they were taking care of 2 large trees on Oak Farms today.
Wasn't this cut last year? Didn't we
It
have-
was cut. He asked for this money last year and it was cut, so he's asking for it again this year.
So we approved it. And then then we failed referendum and then we took it out after that?
I believe that it was cut before the first referendum,
Okay.
by the Board of Finance.
Okay.
And then chip seal and asphalt. Hi, John. Hi.
Those are increases from.
Yes.
The chip seal, so we, the baseline. Chip seal apparently is probably in
Yes,
one that we're gonna be reviewing. I don't, we don't have to go over it now, it's okay.
all right.
We'll be able to look at that in detail.
Yes, I believe so. You may need more explanation than I can provide. This is why this is an intermediate meeting and we're going to be holding more. Others, Cato Rock settlement, I don't know if you know the history of the Cato Rock property, there's 17 individual properties that have been lumped together on 44. It was owned by a company that sold it to the Cato Rock Corporation. There was a significant amount of brownfields out there, hazardous waste. The hazardous waste wasn't getting cleaned up by Cato Rock, so EPA and DEP came in and cleaned it up and put a lien on the property. Well, Kale Rock stopped paying their taxes, so the towns of Ashford and Willington took the land and now we owe. When we acquired the land, we also acquired the lien. So we owe a fair amount of money to DEP and EPA. We are working on that. There's the lawyer that's representing us in Ashford has given me this $20,000. This is for legal fees. And she believes that, oh, we have until December, I believe, to settle this out with the federal government before they get mad. They will come take it out of our hide, I believe. So she is looking to see if we can get that forgiven. She believes she can as long as she works at it starting now. So in meeting with Catherine Silversmith, we have given her the go-ahead, but I'm gonna need additional money in legal fees to handle that.
Catherine Silversmith is the Ashford.
We're first selecting one, yeah.
And this, do we know approximately what percentage of this liability is us and what percentage of this liability is Ashford?
It's complicated because the property is taken as a whole,
Okay,
although most of the stuff that's left is left on our land.
okay.
We only own like 20 to 25% of the 60
So most of the
something
pollution's
acres.
on our part.
Most of the pollution's on our part. So I've told Ashford that if we seized it as a single entity, we should clean it up as a single entity.
Their response was,
Yeah, that made sense to them.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, they could, we don't want them to leave us
No,
holding the bag.
no. And this
We are
is-
also gonna have to
One more
come
time
up,
on the
yeah.
Cable Rock thing, I apologize, so this has been going on for a long time, I mean, this has been 6 or 7
Uh,
years.
no, even longer than that.
Okay,
I don't know this, but like most things with government, it probably took a deadline coming up real fast to get things motivated.
okay, so that's $20,000 in legal fees, right?
Yes,
And then the survey of wetlands is another.
another 20,000, yes. Because the other thing we need to get this forgiven is a plan on what we're gonna do with it. And we can't get a plan on what to do with it till we know what we can do with it, which means knowing where the wetlands are, so we don't put something in the middle of
And that
it.
allows us to do some kind of an analysis of what it's worth,
Yes,
got it,
and I know there's a pond on the property. So I don't think anybody's gonna wanna build in the pond. Well, what we can do with it is also a question. We've had everything from opening a center for environmental studies, building another program like, the Mansfield gymnasium, what are they? Community center,
yeah.
all kinds of ideas, so maybe a solar farm. We don't know. EHHD is the Eastern Highlands Health District. This is kind of like Region 19, they send us a bill, we pay it, because we have to. They're going up 2.6%. Which I don't know what that means in terms of dollars, like this,
I can look it up.
all right. It wasn't a real killer as far as I know.
So it's on page 6, and it's Department 0233. The 2.4% represents an increase of $790.
Okay. So. These numbers on this next page come off the spreadsheet, which is incomplete, so that's not an accurate number, right? The approved budget, proposed budget, yes. we're still at minus 100% on the budget, which I don't think is probably.
So our budget last year for the town portion, not the education portion of the budget, was $7,074,808.
Correct. And I believe the total count, that includes CIP. And I believe the total town budget was 21 point something.
Yes, it was 21,476.
Hey, look at me go. I remembered a number.
Mhm.
Then Donna's added on some assumptions here. Heating oils decreasing from the 272 compared to 290. Diesel fuel decreased. Electric rates went up significantly from.
Do we pay the public portion of that? Do
I
municipalities
don't know.
pay the public portion of that?
Do we pay the pure portion of the electric bill?
I don't know.
Okay,
In which case, people are paying twice for that. then.
yeah. Dental insurance is going up no more than 5%. They haven't given us the numbers on dental and health yet. But they give us what they call a shall not exceed number, which means it's not gonna go above that. Last year, our shall not exceed number for health, I think, was like 5% and went down 5%, which is the first time I saw health insurance dive ever. But this year's medical, you have 20% in here. I thought they said 24 point something, or that they reevaluated.
I'm gonna check that. I thought I heard 20%.
Yeah, I thought I heard 24 point something, 24.8 or something. It was a huge,
Okay.
like, heart attack inducing increase. Which isn't a good thing for your health insurance. And what's whack and lap, WC and LAP?
Workers' comp
All right,
and liability, auto and property.
okay. And we get that through KERMA, which is the municipal insurance program, which has been pretty good to us.
So when do we get these numbers? Dental insurance, medical insurance, and.
Usually
Are all-
just before budgets end. Yeah. That's why they give us a do shall not exceed number, so we can be somewhat prudent.
I mean, just that health insurance number is fairly large.
Yeah,
How much is that health insurance number? Do we know?
health insurance. You know what page that's on, Donna?
Yes. It's on page 10.
What's the code? Oh, right there. 0831, is that what it is?
Yes, 4831.
Yeah, so that's what, $250,000.
Yeah,
1%.
yeah.
Is there anyone who can comment on that earlier than a week before our budget starts?
It's usually earlier than that, but
Yes.
it goes, what, we work with a company called One Digital. And what they do is they go out and shop our insurance to
Yeah.
all the insurance companies to make sure that we get the lowest insurance possible.
Yeah.
And they think that we might do all right because. What is it? They want 80%. They don't want to spend more than 80% of the money that they bring in
Mhm.
on actually fixing people.
Yeah.
And the town has been at about 60%, so we are really good insurance risk,
And
so. We. Hopefully do all right.
do we contract, do we bundle with anybody else on this? In other words, the state of Connecticut has a program for municipalities to join, blah, 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 you join that one, they self-insure.
We don't do that for health insurance, we do that for the other insurances.
We need your price to go for us. It's more expensive to join the state partnership plan than to stay on Connecticut.
Okay, oh, we're on Connecticut, so good. Good, good.
Yeah, they check all that for us, pretty good. I wish I had a further, better grasp on what you're talking about something. You know, anything longer than 2 syllables. Information technology. That's split, is that going, that's going up, right?
Yes, it
We
is.
heard that from,
From,
yeah, from Novus,
yeah,
yeah,
The costs are going up or the,
yes,
not to split, the split stays. the
that's
same.
split to say,
Okay.
How many companies, this seems like a lot of whack to me. Technology services notice 53% town, 47% school. We have a lot more employees for the school than we do for the town. I mean, tons of tons of it.
business services, split between the town and the school. The town pays 100%.
Like this says we're paying 53, 40%, 47% school. Just, are these budget numbers that we're talking about?
This is for information technology. I'm talking about business services, that's Donna's whole office. That, Donna's office is paid for by the town. But we do the business service, the town does business services for the school.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
So there's a little bit that doesn't fall directly into the
Peter's right,
categories,
not everything is 50/50, or, yeah,
or even used 50/50.
yeah.
Like payroll, there's a lot more teachers and school personnel than there are town personnel. Heating oil. We don't know what that's going, we got a price on that, we got a price on that from the top, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
All right,
this is, the point here is that.
Oh,
just
but
combined with the school.
we combine with the schools, so we have a volume,
Mhm.
Correct.
and then health and dental, we combine that with the school, so because with only, what is it, 20 employees in the town, then we couldn't get a deal, so we go with the school and then combine all the teachers in. Mowing and trimming, that's for all the fields. So. The town pays 94%, the schools pay 6%. But that's because of Parks and Rec. And telephone services for, school pays for the outgoing lines and the town pays for the incoming lines. I think that's because that it breaks it down easier that way for billing.
Yes,
As far as that goes. Since I came into office, I've been looking into changing our phone service. Erica changed our phone service and it improved dramatically. It still is not where you would expect to be. You pick up your cell phone, you dial a 10-digit number and it goes through. With a town, you dial a 10-digit number and it says, it's a long distance call, you have to redial using a 1. And then you see one that looks like it's out of area, so you use the 1, they go, no, we're not putting it through, it's a local number, hang up and dial without the 1. Dial numbers 6 times before I finally get freaking through. And we're on a Centrex system, if I'm not mistaken, and the Centrex server needs a critical update, which is gonna cost $4,000 there. So we've been putting it off. We've been looking into VoIP service. So I think that would, I think it'll save us money, I'm not sure. We are having Novus look into that and research it for us. So. Which brings us to the line items in the budget. Selectmen's budget. That's my salary and the car show and cell phones, etc. I'm guessing this $500 for cell phones, that's all 4 lines? Can't be. That's just my phone, $500 a year?
yes, I believe that's just your phone.
all the spam I get on it, it's,
So that advertising thing, that's public notices, right?
yes, and. Just as a note on advertising, we have to send out a public notice, that's the newspaper notice.
Yeah,
We have to send one out every time there's a town meeting, every time there's an opening for. A job opening, et cetera, and I would like to point out that. As of today, we are $90 over our budget. For that, and we have. At least 2 job openings, and I don't know how many town meetings between now and June, so we are gonna have to up that a fair amount. Maybe I'm holding too many town meetings, I don't know. We got. We just got the notification from Prague on what our dues there are. I think they're remaining the same, aren't they? Have we heard from CCM?
Yes.
Okay.
Increasing.
Oh,
That line item can stay the same, it's good.
for the benefit of the public, Prague is Capital
Region Council of Governments, and CCM is the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities.
That's the one we did the training for.
Yes, no, I believe that was, PERMA. Which is an offshoot of CCM. Or something. They're somehow related. Reminds me, we have that, meeting on Friday.
Okay.
I'll give you the address. If we show up separately.
Yeah.
Probate court, have you heard from them yet?
It's based on the grand list. That's due on the 31st.
Okay,
Do we have any preliminary data on what's happening to the grand list at all?
yes. Grand list is increasing.
That's a good thing.
Well, not for the people whose houses just went up dramatically, aren't they?
No, that's happy. I meant, I thought it's.
So but it's. The number I have right now is everything, but it's a lot of
Right, evaluation.
revaluation. Oh, come on, what did I do with it? Here someplace.
While he's doing that, Andy, how's the response to the dump to the car field? Everybody getting.
I think everyone that I spoke with was fine with it, many of them didn't know about it.
Yeah,
But I didn't hear anybody that was, opposed to it or was griping about it, they just didn't know. And they're not used to it because with single stream, and you could put all your debris in all your recyclables in the boxes, and
Right.
throw everything out together, so it'll be some change of habits.
right.
No one seemed against it.
Cool. That's great.
I explained it a lot over and over again about why we're doing it.
Andy, I want to commend you on filling in what we found paperwork, that's really good.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
I can always.
Willington, all property together is going up 55%.
All property together is going, and that's, do we know how much that is revaluation versus growth?
All of it's reevaluation, as far as I know. Yeah, we are not far out of line considering that we have a 6-year reval instead of a 5-year reval. Because Coventry went up 60%, Mansfield went up 40 to 50%, Holland Residential went up 50%. Their commercial went up 1,600%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what we get.
Yeah. So
Any
I am
feedback?
glad I'm not Brian right now.
I know that's not the subject for our meeting today,
Yeah.
but any feedback on, I'm not on the results of the evaluation, but the process, our supplier did a good job, there's no problem.
I've heard no complaints. And they were very pleasant if you had a hearing, if you wanted to go.
We're supposed to do this once every 5 years.
Once every 5 years.
We
And that's
skipped,
part of CIP.
we skipped and we went 6 years, I think.
Yes,
Now, does that mean we have 4 years to reserve for? the
I
next
believe
one?
so.
Or does it mean we have 5 years? Does it reset?
No,
Back on the old
I
schedule.
think it goes back to the old schedule, so I think we may have
So
four.
we have 4 years to.
I'm not, I'm not positive on that, but that's what I heard someplace and. Was probably being told something else at the time too. Registrar's office,
Well, just, before we go, the campus tax fund, do we lose that now that they left?
yes, we will not be getting any more from them.
Yeah, okay.
You know. I don't know whether that's fortunate or unfortunate, we'll find out. They are getting a new cannabis dispensary in Ashford, 100%.
We don't get a portion of theirs?
No,
They're right down the street.
I know, but we didn't give them any of ours.
Did they ask for it? No, never, okay, I'm.
Tell people, well, wait to lower your tax. Should be.
To wait till.
That was a good one though. Probate, we're waiting on the grand list, registrars. We got killed by the early voting,
Yeah, saying 20 grand, right?
yeah,
And none of that was not part of the 23-24.
no,
So that's interesting.
it's only in 24-25.
Yeah,
That's because that's when the law was passed.
that's right.
brand new
So it
law.
was totally unexpected and
And we're getting whacked for another $2,000 because we have to redo the video system. So that we
right, so
can,
that one, the block
we
box.
can watch the box 24/7 for 4 weeks and store the hard drive for a year before we can use it.
So
Thank you, Waterbury.
yeah, so that's $27,275 is primarily associated, that's the increase, right? No,
We don't have any of the increases in here yet because we haven't filled in any of this. But like the registrar, except for the registrar's salary, which is going up $750 because they're getting the 2%.
so do we know if, oh, I see, where's there it is, elections. I apologize, everyone, I'm trying to keep up.
That's okay.
So, the increased costs associated with early voting are not in here yet, right?
No,
But you said it was 20 grand?
that's
budgeted.
what we budgeted,
Oh,
and I think it was over that.
that's gonna happen again.
Yes,
There won't be a primary this time. though.
not for this year, but for the year after there will be,
Right,
and there could be a primary. If the parties
I understand.
don't get it together, we're gonna have a primary. So you could end up with a primary. And then. There's something else too, that. Because it's a municipal year instead of a federal year,
Yeah, yeah.
it's slightly down, but. Right now they're upstairs, we're paying, salary because they have to do the recanvass of all the voters in town. Accounting. Is that you or is that the people that come in here and do the accounting? That's you, okay. So I know we're not going down 99.3%, so that must be the line items haven't gone through yet.
Correct.
Alright. Board of Finance. Has been spending around $5,000. Do they pay for the referendum or do I?
You do.
Well, thank you.
The advertising for the budget referendum.
Okay. Treasurer's salary. We are right about on point for that. The training and education office supplies and dues and fees for membership. You've got all those as not in yet. But are they gonna be about the same, or is that when we changed over from the model of how the office works under,
I think they're going to be exactly the same.
okay,
And that, the next one after that is auditing, 335.
Yes.
That's the auditors who come in, they sit over here and then they go over all the invoices.
It's like four of them sitting here with their.
So they audit Board of Education as well,
Yes,
and they audit the fire services and all that sort of thing.
yes.
Is there anything else that they audit? So
They audit everything that goes through the town, right?
Yes,
So there's parts of the fire departments that don't go through the town. They're being independent organizations, they have income like. You wanna donate to them, that money goes directly to them instead of through the town back to them. And where they can buy whatever, you know,
right,
T-shirts and chickens and stuff for their. Barbecue.
and
Assessor. We don't pay the assessor's salary, we pay. Assessor services, right, that's how that changed lines there.
yes.
We've had a lot of. Upheaval in the assistant assessor office, I think we're on our. We're gonna be on our third one here soon. Um. Right now, we're trying to get a Parks and Rec director, and then we will get an assistant assessor, and then we have to get an assistant Parks and Rec director. And this weekend, the assistant Parks and Rec guy resigned, so. Speaking of that, you got the note from Janet that we're gonna meet next week to interview.
Yes.
All right. Um. And we're gonna need training and education for that position because I want our assistant assessor to come up to speed. Um. Board of Assessment Appeals,
No, I'm just doing computer support for this, that's in addition to what's in the selectmen's budget, that's a separate.
oh yeah, they've got
Got their own,
they've got
their
their
tax
own,
software is probably very different than.
yes,
Just-
and
Got it.
that's the auditor, so the assessor, so. They not only have that, but they've gotta go on through the DMV.
Sure.
And find out for vehicles and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Board of Assessment Appeals, I'm not expecting much change there. Donna, is that,
Me neither.
all right. Revenue collector salary, that's one of the ones that's gonna be affected by the,
Mhm.
feds. The assistant salary is also going up, because of the contract. This one, they are also dealing with DMV and other outside agencies.
Mhm. So let's move on, so on the revenue collector assistant. Am I reading this correctly?
Yes.
It's gonna go up by 25%,
2.5,
right?
oh, we do that,
Yes, you're reading it correctly.
okay.
It's going from 23 to 28, White.
Yes, so the 23, the number that's approved. First of all, when we designed the budget for this current year, we didn't put the salary increases in because we didn't have a contract, a union contract. So that's part of it. And that is why you see that some salaries are increasing 5% because the 2.5 for 24-25 is not in there. So it's 2.5 for 24-25, and then 2.5 for 25-26.
All right, but the
Okay.
total went up 25.
Yes.
That comes,
Because the 23 is understated, and I don't know
ah,
like where that came from, or she wasn't working 18 hours, but for her to work 18 hours
got it.
and then in July.
So the 25% is because that number's wrong.
Yes, that number's wrong. That's the bottom line. The 23,000 is wrong.
Okay.
All right, in the training and education. We were not spending it in 23 and 24 because Janice had finished her. Certification. It's a 4-year certificate, 4-semester. Certification, 2-year certification. 4 classes. And so we're gonna have to start over on that. Actually, we'll be starting soon, I believe, right on our first class. And office supplies, I don't. 6,000 to 6,000 sounds good to me. 0% increase. Town council is town attorney, labor attorney, land use attorney. That's the one that's the big jump. And town attorney, and that's because of Cato Rock. That's the Cato Rock line.
I think, Peter, do you think the increase is enough? Because if we need 20,000 for Kid Rock and 20,000 for the survey, then
Is the survey under another line? Did we put this in?
I didn't put, I think the survey is in this town council line.
Mm,
I think that should be 58,000 instead of 40,000.
All right, I think that, well, hold off, I think that the survey may be under a different line.
And that should be inland wetlands or something.
Yeah, inland wetlands or something,
Oh, okay,
I think,
okay.
it seems like surveying out in the woods is not the same as lawyer in an office.
Oh, I see what you mean. So maybe under land use attorney?
I'm liking that.
No, because that's
Oh,
That's,
mine.
Oh, that's
Mike.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's figure out where, it's probably on the next page where I put it, under, inland wetlands general expenses.
You should do a note for that guy,
Which guy?
the inland wetlands director.
Yeah, well, I think that's Mike too.
Yes, it is Mike. It
Yeah.
is Mike. Okay,
But should legal services in general have more money in it? I mean, I don't think that's gonna go away.
This actual spending on legal
You
services,
think
I think
we're pretty good with that?
no, I think we're a lot higher than that, just based on the number of receipts that I
So many.
Yes.
In land use, there's so many things that have to go to
Well,
the
that's,
attorney.
yeah, that's a land use attorney, I'm just thinking that, but
overall,
town
yeah,
council
same thing,
line
yeah.
is the one that,
They often go hand in hand.
yeah, we've had a number, like, last year we did the contract, or it was in this year that we did the contract, and I think that's more than $5,000. She was here for a couple of days.
They're not getting any cheaper.
No. If she keeps having kids like she is, she's not gonna get any cheaper either. I mean, those things are expensive,
Yeah.
having had a couple. And somebody told me that they don't cost you anything after they turn 21.
That's a lie. That seems to be true.
All right, town clerk. The thing on town clerk that I was told to look out for, training and education and office supplies. Office supplies might have to go up because they used to get their special, they need special acid-free paper for the documentation,
Yeah.
document preservation.
Right.
And that used to be provided through one of the services and is no longer being provided. So we're gonna have to check on that.
So something on document retention grant or something like that they did?
Yes, they got a grant that a lot of the actual paper can be reduced to digital so that it's more available and it preserves better and you don't have, you have as much safe space. I'm in favor of digitizing just for search reasons. If any of you are old enough to have gone through microfiche, maybe you'll be so happy to have Google.
So you think we might need an increase for office supplies?
Yes.
Some of that could have been captured, could be captured in.
Oh.
Current numbers, so.
Also, training for the town clerk.
Right.
We're gonna have to check that number because our town clerk is no longer certified, so we have to get some certification for her too.
The call needs to be certified.
Mm-hmm.
We show 25% increase now, right? Oh, that's that's $250 for that, not the big thing you're saying?
No, that's probably the increase, that might be the increase we're looking for in training. I don't know what the state's charging for that.
It's not a lot.
No, that's what I was thinking. I do wanna get our people to school though, because that's one thing we do offer is certification and training. Take good people, train them up,
Send them on their way.
have them go away for another $20,000 a year. Conservation. CMS, what does CMS stand for? Commission?
Yes.
All right,
He's right.
that's I think that's a good number, right?
Yeah.
1,500?
Yes, they,
It's year to year to year.
Yeah,
yes.
we have some new members there. I wonder if they'll be training with them. If they'll need any.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know if they get training. I know that the
PZ does.
yeah, and somebody else does too. In the wetlands? Didn't they wanna start training, getting in the wetlands, people train? We gotta talk to Mike about that.
Yeah.
And then this entire next section under planning and zoning, building permit support system, all that, we're gonna have to get those numbers from Mike.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And we don't have anything to even talk about yet there.
Right.
Zoning Board of Appeals, there's not gonna be a big change there, do you think?
Mike
Uh,
provides that for us,
All right,
and economic development, Mike provides that.
all right,
Inland wetlands.
It's all about Mike.
yeah. So page 4 is Mike.
As far as economic development commission, I'd like to make a case to the board of selectmen that we increase this slightly
All right,
back to where we were in 2023. Got cut last year,
all right,
and the budget. And that meant that we can't post our sign anymore.
You can't, I'm sorry, you couldn't get
We have signage going up. We have, I think, one sign up already. They've been designed, it was done by Jeff Prusak,
Oh, nice.
and the response has been very good. We have other sites that we'd like to place signs. Right now, we're unable to buy any more. We have plans for, I think, 4.
I think you have one in storage now too that hasn't been put up yet.
That's right, that's because we have the problem with the people that own the
Dollar
General. So we're looking now to place that elsewhere, and we want to buy another sign as well, one per year. Right now, we can't do it. Budget level.
Is that where most of the money is spent in advertising or? I don't know much about it.
All it is Mike's expertise in terms of economic development, land use, and conservation. So that consulting service, and then there's signage, that's it, they're not spending any other, there might be a what do you call it, a subscription, but other than that, nothing. I mean, we have a meeting tonight after this, so.
Yeah, look, you could ask about that.
Yeah, sure.
And then wetlands, that's also Mike. And that's the one where we wanna think about adding 20K for the
For education.
yeah. Town office. we've got a number of things which we may have to look at. Custodial services, that kind of thing. So I think that if we have Shannon look at some of these lines and figure out where we are, because who does the contracts for those? Copiers, custodial service.
Something that tells me that that's gonna be me.
Yeah, I do the copiers and we are in year one of a new 5-year contract.
Okay,
Custodial is a 2-year contract and the selectman's office does that one.
okay. And pest control. We cut that for the animal control facility.
Where are you? So,
Oh, right here, page 5, I got halfway now.
592.
Security monitoring, I think we've gone to our own alarm system, we have, it says 0, but I'm not sure that's
I'm gonna
right,
research that. I'm not sure it's right either.
because they call Troy whenever there's a problem, and that's gotta be costing us money someplace.
Yes.
Heating oil, we started to get numbers for that. Town hall, then town hall is the old town hall.
It includes the scout hall. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
and includes the scout hall. Cause the scout hall is the original town hall.
Yes, it is, that's true.
Then there's the old town hall,
Which was
then
the
there's the
church.
town office. Yeah.
So, we go back to
Yes,
so if you go back up to town office building, we have drinking water, 631, and water service, 411.
yeah,
What's the difference?
one is the pipes that come in, and the other one is the bottled water and the coolers.
You know, the pipes that come in, that's coming out, that's okay, is that, where does that water come from?
From the rest of the water company.
Water.
One feeds the
Is it
senior
drinkable?
center and the
Yeah,
center school.
right, it goes to all the buildings, and it goes all the way down there, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Who owns that?
town does, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a separate company.
That was a separate company.
Yes, the water. Right, what, I can't think of the name of it now, it's.
Whitewater,
What is it?
Whitewater
White water?
manages it, but we own. the
Whitewater?
wells.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Whitewater.
I'm sorry, I'm traveling mind. So, okay, then, so are we, who's responsible for all that?
And maintenance on that?
Yeah, maintenance, upkeep, troubleshooting,
Whitewater does all that, we pay for.
I didn't know, so.
Yeah, I didn't know either until really recently.
Yeah,
And we were looking at the maintenance on that pipe, and they said, yeah, usually around year 80 or 90, you start having problems. And we're now in year 5
5,
or 6, something that's not been
Not
that.
that long.
yeah,
ago.
yes, huh, that's good, good.
That went in under, no, it's gotta be longer than that. Because that went in under Eldridge.
Yes, it did.
So where's the water come from?
I'm not sure. But there's problems because the people, there was a problem with,
I remember that, I remember all about that.
yeah. And the thing that prevents our maintenance from being particularly bad is that nobody's tapped into it other than that.
Right.
So I believe the fire department's on it too, right?
I think so.
The school, the fire department,
This building.
us, and then the senior center.
complex there.
And that's the bill that's the contract that's why I know it's under Eldridge is because. We just redid that contract and I'm looking into seeing where the hard copy is now.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's a lot of people down there at that senior center.
Yes.
If we're responsible for that line, it's pretty important that we.
Yes, and they use about $40,000 a year or more.
Well, that's that, oh, that's what that is, got it.
Yeah, and then their sewage too.
Yep.
They don't wanna keep it, they wanna pump it out.
Thanks, appreciate the information, so, back on track again, Pete?
Okay. Town hall maintenance and town hall scout. Heating oil,
Steph sent a chat. Isn't it Connecticut Water Company as a supplier?
no, I believe Connecticut Water is the one down by the other fire department. It could be the same one, but
I think they're different,
I think, yeah,
they come from a different place.
all right. we will look into that.
Thanks.
The consulting engineer, that's staying about the same. I don't think we have any new big projects coming up. He has engineered he's engineered more projects than we can pay for now, so. I'm not sure where it was.
Would he be involved in the Schofield Road project if that comes to fruition?
I believe he has already done. Schofield, Village.
So I forget what the money was, for. I thought it was Schofield.
No, the other, there's one that's done and the other one needs to be done, and the money that's in there for the one that hasn't been done
Is
is.
sufficient.
I don't believe he'll be involved in that because it's gotta go out to.
Probably gonna go on, be beyond his scope.
Yes, and it's a state.
Yep.
There's all kinds of state regulations,
Mhm,
and we're dealing with state roads and state waterways as well.
mhm.
It's,
Yeah, the
A
2
little
million is
bit
gonna be.
nightmarish, but that's partly the reason why we're increasing the hours on the public works, administrator. Because she is shepherding a
She'll
lot
be,
of that.
she'll be a pivotal place.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Well, what are we on now?
Senior center.
Page 6.
We don't have numbers from them yet.
Usually I do it for them.
Okay,
So I have a question about senior center. For both the library and for the senior center, we're paying for trash service. We run a trash service.
no. These are dumpsters.
I know, you don't pick up the dumpster.
No, we don't, the town doesn't have the capability for that. We run, even the dumpsters that are at the transfer station are run by Casella. I've got Coachella on the mind and I can't say it.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the dumpsters are run by,
so,
yeah, it used to be Willimantic Waste. Fire marshal, deputy fire marshal. I don't know what to say about that. We haven't heard from Trevor on that. We will have to talk. to
We
him.
share that, right? That's
No,
the fire marshal is just for Willing.
fire marshals, yes,
I thought it was a shared service for some reason.
no,
Okay.
each town has their own. The nice thing about fire marshals though, is that once you're certified as a fire marshal, you can work in any town, so. Trevor, I can't remember why, wasn't able to respond to the, high chase fire, so the town fire marshal came in.
Okay.
And you don't know about the deputy fire marshal. Currently, the deputy fire marshal is Dick Palmer.
Mhm.
I want to say Dick like Palmer, I know what.
Yeah, right.
Dick Palmer, and Dick, I'm not sure where he is with his certification. You need reoccurring education. And he was supposed to serve into that role until his current certification ran out,
Mhm.
and I believe it's close to running out. So I don't know, we should have a deputy. And I think I can find one, it's just that when that switch over is gonna be over. We have several people in town that are outstanding fire marshals that work for other big places. The 32, the fire protection, 32 main and fire hydrants, dry hydrants. All right, the first line is the one that we don't have any. That's the one where they send us the bill, and we pay it, right?
Yes, it's on Route 32.
Yeah, and
Goes to the school,
every year, Jeff and I vote against it, it doesn't matter, because we have to pay it anyway.
yes.
Thank you. It was, Erica's father-in-law
Yes.
that started the tradition of voting
Yes,
against
he
it.
did.
AEDs, we should get that line from, Alex. I know he's been, maintaining them and finding out where we need new ones to maintain a designation as heart healthy. Or heart healthy community or something.
Yes, I think that's right.
And dispatch fees, I think that includes both our fire departments and the
Yes, it does.
animal control.
Yes, that's correct.
The dispatch fees went up from $20,000 in 2023 to $29,500 in 2020.
No, 31, we budgeted 31,365, that's only what we spent through October.
Yeah.
So it's, and it's going up again.
So essentially, it's up by 1/3.
Yeah,
That's a little high, don't you think?
yeah. That's another one of those ones where it's an outside agency that unless we have somebody telling us where the fires are, we can't go.
So when we're part of it, we're part of a consortium that pays for
Yes,
this,
yeah.
along with.
I think it's 38 or 40 something.
Everybody's paying the third more.
Hang on just a minute, I got it.
So everybody's paying about a third more.
Yeah. That's Town County Mutual Aid, I'm in town. So we need to find a number on that too. That we get from
I don't know.
Tyler or Alex.
Yeah.
All right. Eastern Highlands Health went up 2.4%. Emergency management, we've got budgeted 6,000, but we only pay half, and I don't think he's been collecting all of that, right? So he doesn't. 3,000 is paid by the state, but I don't think he's been making the whole 6. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. He's honest about it.
Generator maintenance. That comes under emergency management because Hall Middle is our shelter.
There's shelter, yeah.
So if I remember earlier this year, we talked about a regional shelter situation with
Yes.
Mansfield. If that came to fruition, that would go into here on this as a line item, and it's another shared service that we have no control over the budget for.
Well, it coming in at about $500 or $600 a year. It also powers Hall Middle School, should they have a power outage.
No, I'm okay with what we spent.
All right,
I have no problem with that. Earlier in the year, we talked about joining a consortium.
yes, that we have done, and so far, I don't think it costs us anything, right? That's Demus or FEMA? I think it's Demus. Let me check on,
Would it be, that's a good call, Matt. Would it be in this section? Would it be under that?
I think it would go under emergency management.
Yeah, but you would think so. Interesting, okay. So at least we know where to look for
I
it.
mean, regionalization is great because we save money.
Yes,
But regionalization is bad also.
because you
You can't lose
can't,
control of the
yes.
budget.
yeah,
So,
In this case, we wouldn't be saving any money.
well, we don't know. I
There
mean,
might be another line, but I don't know what would be reduced.
well,
We had an additional expense for regional. It doesn't look
what would
like
be
it.
reduced is we'd be taking the generator maintenance off of emergency management and adding it back into either the schools or landscaping or public works or.
I see, because the school would no longer be our shelter.
Right.
I get that. So we didn't really, generator still needs to be maintained regardless, it's just shuffles it around looking.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, wait, here we go, 0235. That's the fire hydrants that we pay,
Yeah,
we're under contract,
that's Southampton.
yeah. Right. Building official, oh, we got some numbers in there,
Yes.
up 2.7.
This is the shared services, all right?
Yeah,
Building
it's
inspector.
Mike D'Amato,
Well, is the building inspector?
yeah, it all works for Mike D'Amato.
Is the building inspector a shared service, or do we have an employee?
Town of Bolton. It's like our assessor with the town of Bolton.
How's that working out, Pete?
As far as I know, good.
Good.
We could make improvements. He's very competent at his job. Public Works. We got a lot of the line items in there, but we're still missing some stuff.
Mhm.
We need to talk to Troy about that. So. That from that first page, when we go from a laborer to a driver. It's gonna zero out line item 135. And increase line item 133. So you'll notice that 133 went up 52%, but line item 4 went down 100%,
So
or 35.
we're saving.
We're not.
22,572.
Yeah, we're not saving anything because it changed to 64, so it's about a $40,000 increase.
So it's the net of 133 and 135, right? No,
No, because these are new items over here. So what it is. This line item is increasing by this much and this line item is decreasing by that much. So what you do is you subtract the 22 from the 64, so it's about $40,000. That's what I get in my head.
That's correct.
22,572,
Right,
and we are spending 123, 128.
except it's going up to 187, 760, 796.
Right, okay, I got it.
All right. I don't know what's going on in this page two.
What's tree removal service?
That's from page 1. That's our vegetation control.
It says our budget for removing trees.
Yes. So 3 people in town remove trees. We remove trees, Eversource removes trees, and the state removes trees.
This is our cost for.
That's our cost for, yeah, our roads are our problem.
When I saw it,
Eversource, the power lines are Eversource's problem. And state roads are the state's problem.
and when I saw tree removal service, I thought dad and son or somebody like that.
No, that's who right now, I think our main contractor is Aspelinda.
So this is an outside cost.
Yes, it is. What we're doing is, we have a contract with them, and every day they go out, it costs us X dollars.
Linden Tree Service does
Is it
some,
Linden?
yeah, they do
Yeah, all right.
some, but I don't think they do right now, but they were there for a while.
I think that may have been who was out there this morning,
But
actually.
they're a good operation.
Yeah. There's 2 really big, really dead trees on. Just down the road from us here on Old Farms.
And the next phase 8 is also public works, right?
Yeah. And it looks like Troy's gone and done pretty well on. Filling some of these numbers in. And so currently it says minus 1.7%, but I don't think that's gonna be right. Because we have some gasoline lines that. Are gonna have to be filled in. The thing is that. We've done a lot with street signs this year, so. Then OSHA requirements are bumping up because it used to be that you had to have 25% of your drivers. Tested every year, And OSHA's decided that 100% of your drivers need to be tested every year.
Tested for skills or tested for drugs?
Drugs and physicals and all that other nonsense.
Yeah. Well, they all need CDLs, so now they. probably
Yeah,
gotta get-
yeah.
That means all of our public works is tested.
Mhm.
I see here that it says diesel and gasoline for the fire departments, that comes out of public works.
Yep.
Interesting. Because we own the equipment.
Yeah, we own the equipment. And that way we can,
That's fun. Just-
I am open to being corrected on this, but I believe that if the town buys the diesel. That we don't pay the tax on it. It comes in tax free
Yeah, sense. No, just.
and it's town equipment. And that way we don't have to set up separate pumps for them, and set up separate accounts.
I have no heartache with it, I just like understanding.
Salt, we're leaving at $140,000. The line item. Where was it?
What's snowplow?
Snow removal contract, I think is what 422 is. $40,000. That's where if we get the driver, we may be able to save that 40,000. I believe. We will have to have Troy in and ask him.
Then, so this road maintenance chip seal is a $50,000 increase.
Mm-hmm.
The asphalt is $275,000.
We have a plan that was. A road maintenance plan that was initiated. 4 years ago. And it. The plan we paid for said you need to repair this many miles of road per year. And we've been below that amount every year since the plan was paid for.
Got cut
So-
last year.
Yeah. And so what Troy's trying to do is, he's trying to come into accordance with the plan we paid for.
Does this bring us into accordance with the payment plan we paid for?
I think it gets us a lot closer. I'm not sure that it gets us all the way up. The cemetery staying the same.
We have a cemetery group that volunteers for that?
Yes. But we pay for mowing and that kind of stuff, but I believe that. What's the proper title, sexton? The guy who controls where you go,
That's the sexton.
yeah, I don't think it's paid, I don't know.
I don't, yes, I think through the town clerk,
Oh, he does get paid?
yeah. It's
Okay.
a fee that the town clerk collects.
Oh. Alright, learn something new every day. Then we have transfer station. Well, monitoring, because of the amount of waste down there, it gets into the groundwater, it may get in the groundwater, they wanna make sure it doesn't. Right now, our electricity might go up a little bit because the, furnace. All the controls were eaten by mice, so the furnace doesn't come on now. So we've got a space heater in there keeping the water from freezing because in all the water for public works goes through the animal control.
I remember that, I remember staying.
Social security, we don't know about yet, I'm guessing.
I'll know as soon as I finalize the wages.
All right, and unemployment. That one, we're leaving it the same.
Yes,
Makes sense.
no claimants right now.
It looks like. Pension fund,
Yeah, I will, work that out.
okay, that's you.
Yeah.
And employee insurances, that's
Yeah.
Stacy.
Yeah.
Right. We now have cybercrime insurance.
Yes,
We've had it for a couple of years now. It makes our other insurance go down. Doesn't it?
I think so.
Also, what we found with the health. Facilities in the area is that if you get hit with a ransomware, attack, it can be very expensive.
Oh, yes.
Um. Finance,
You might wanna go over these numbers again.
all right, well, he told me to keep going,
No, okay, I didn't hear that.
well, he didn't say anything out loud, gave me the hand suit.
Gotcha.
Board of Finance contingency fund, that is set by the Board of Finance, so. That's on them. That is,
Nice.
that's when you don't know what's gonna, whether something's coming or not. And what they've always done is to be prudent, is to put money in the budget to cover it in case it
That's a
happens.
smart idea.
And send it back to the general fund if it doesn't.
That's.
We should have used that when, the last governor told us that we were gonna get whacked, what was it, 1 point something million for teacher retirement benefits.
Yeah.
And then they didn't whack us for the teacher retirement benefits, but then they added it to our, MBR, which you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
We will do that at the
Yeah.
end of page 11.
Mhm. Very good.
Capital expenditures, do you wanna talk about capital expenditures for just a minute, Donna? What that is?
Yes, the $35,000.
Yep.
So that's in year 2 of the plan, the CIP plan,
Alright,
okay? And they put it in there for the town office building common room floors.
yes. Thank you. Which we will try to get done one of these days. So the lease principal and interest on the general bond, debt service.
Yes,
That's where the animal control officer and self-contained breathing apparatus for the fire department.
okay, the bond, principal and interest is the library.
All right,
That's the library bond payment.
yeah, that's the line above where I was
Yeah,
looking.
see right underneath it, there's $1 million for a bond payment.
Yeah,
The CIP has that in year 2, they have a bond
Yeah.
payment for $1 million. So
Oh.
I put it in the budget.
beautiful.
For this,
All right. At least we're keeping transit out in, track of it. And I need to excuse myself for that, so if you wanna.
No, I don't want
Oh, wait.
to. Just.
I shall return momentarily.
We'll recess in place for a moment.
Okay. I'll do that when we.
Where do we show revenues from fees and all these other things? Where's those coming to?
no. They are on the revenue side of the budget,
On the revenue side,
yes,
which is not on this sheet.
it's this, correct, this is
That's
only
fine.
expenditures.
I was just curious. I wonder what those generate.
I can tell you,
That's all right. Let's stick to this subject. We'll make that in one other.
yes,
But I think maybe in one of our meetings, it might be, I would like to, I think it would be interesting, it would help me put it all together. If we could have those, if we could do a spreadsheet of accounts receivable. I think it would be fun to look at.
So actually, none of the numbers on the last page work because we're not filled in all the way on all of our.
you're correct,
Line items.
yes, you're correct, they don't work because we're not completely filled in.
But the prior year's numbers would be accurate, so we could speak to those.
Yes.
Now, I'm gonna ask probably a lot of silly questions on that, because I don't quite get it. So
What's Department 910? This 2006 John Pond Principal, that's the library.
910,
Yeah,
yes, that's the general obligation bond for the library.
what's the $1 million below that?
That is what the CIP year 2 in the CIP plan. And, they are,
That's this year 2 CIP plan from last year, right?
yes, from last year. So they are budgeting a bond payment of $1 million. I believe it is for school repair projects. I'm certain. They have budgeted a $12 million bond for school projects, and that's the first payment of the bond.
Oi. So. Sorry. Let's see what we're at. Recess from place. All right, we can unrecess. So then we have our transfer outs.
Yeah, help me understand these. What is this telling me? How do I parse this information? So, so just if we, since I know these numbers haven't been updated, right? So,
Some of them, if it's in yellow, it's been updated.
okay. So, but let's just look at, say, fiscal year 2024, that column.
Right.
That's because that's solid. Those were actual numbers. What does this mean, transfer out ambulance?
That's the amount we budgeted for our ambulance service for
Salaries?
salaries.
So salaries and benefits?
Yes.
Yes, and then the whole thing goes to an account and then that account pays for it. So it's already all been transferred.
Okay, that's fine. So that's salaries and benefits, but that's not, that has nothing to do with the equipment or anything else. That's just
No, I think that what the
That's
PR
people.
stands for payroll.
payroll, okay. All right, and then the next line, 18232,
Is what we pay for the rest of Wellington Hill Fire Department.
okay, and that's not, or that is payroll.
That's not payroll because the only payroll they have is the ambulance.
So
So,
the only payroll we have is for the ambulance.
right,
So we're paying our emergency service paid personnel.
that,
Does that include like the chief's salaries or that?
the chiefs don't have salaries.
Okay. So,
Chiefs are volunteer.
all right, God bless them. All
So
right,
the only payroll is for the ambulance when they're working in the ambulance. And then the transfer out Wellington Fire Department #1, that's for maintenance on the trucks. Maintenance on the building, heat,
okay,
they take care of all that.
the same thing for,
Same thing for the Wellington Hill.
and how many, do we know how many emergency service staff work the ambulances?
2 at a time, 24/7.
Two at a time, but don't we have some part-timers in there?
Yes,
too?
so what I think we have
15
4
people or something, or did I hear that?
Yeah, but we have like 4 full-time, and then the rest are part-time and per diem and,
And they do get paid, so,
yes, yeah.
so it's 500,000, basically.
Yep.
And it's going up to almost 3/4, so, okay.
Yeah,
So that increased, so the ambulance, it increased from 528 to 622, $94,000.
yeah, it was last year, and it might go up again this year, we don't know yet.
So 94 divided by 528. What, 17%? 2023 to 2024.
Yeah, right? Yeah, sure.
And then that does not include, by the way, $50,000 that's in the capital improvement plan for paying salaries to EMTs.
There was,
We don't actually have EMTs,
we don't, no, we have EMTs, we don't have paramedics.
We don't have paramedics, we have EMTs, not paramedics.
So we pay paramedics to come in from out of
So that's 622 is actually 670.
No, we weren't paying ambulance people, that 50 was for the ambulance, not for the crew. That wasn't payroll.
Not the one I looked at.
I can't remember now.
I'm pretty sure that was for the new frame on the ambulance. I could be wrong. I'm willing to be corrected. Yeah, there's,
It'll take a while.
Okay.
Continue as you work.
Yeah, there is some, this has been, talked with some of the town residents, to me and to Ralph Toulis and others about the income that is generated through insurance. Does that show up on our does that show up like, well, I'll call it accounts receivable, because I don't know the right term?
Yeah.
Does that come into the town coffers, or does that go
Yes.
right?
that's
no,
Fund
it does.
17, that's not.
Okay, so again,
That's Fund 17, not ARPA.
Yeah, so
So,
okay,
yeah, so. That would still go back to this line here. Well, I don't know. So the 50,000 on fund, from Fund 17 on CIP, is that included in this line, or is that in addition to this line?
Tell me where the 50,000 is in CIP.
It's every year.
Every year, okay. Okay. I just need to see it, then I'll know what it is. Ambulance payroll, okay, so there's nothing budgeted there on mine. So the 50,000. Oh, yeah, 50,000, $10,000 every year. Okay, so that is, well,
Is that 50,000 already included in the 62?
it is in addition to it.
In addition to it?
So yes, that would be correct. It's just 10,000 every year, so it's really,
See,
that's the right place for it.
632,000.
that's the discussion at CIP currently.
Yes, we touched on this,
We
right?
touched
This
on
was
this,
touched on.
yes.
It doesn't seem like that's the right place for it, because is that really a
It's not a capital
capital
improvement.
No, it's not, if it's an ongoing every year.
The thing is that ARPA was money that ended, and Fund 17 is funded by
Gotcha.
the insurance payments for the
Yes.
ambulance running.
I have,
So what they're doing is they're taking money that they've earned and putting it back in the payroll.
okay,
in my opinion is that that's not a capital.
Can you read that?
Because the 50K in CIP is the 10K a year offset to an ambulance payroll we're asked to do every year.
That's correct.
Thank you, Steph.
still seems to not a placeholder. Okay, you know what, I don't know. I
I
trust,
just didn't know whether the 50 was in that number or not in that number, that's
I trust our BOF people, but it just seems like an odd placeholder.
It's not in the number.
Right.
all right.
Hold on, she sent another message. Fund 17 is a capital improvement. So the payroll amount was outside of the years.
Yes, that's the conversation we just had.
So, okay,
Right. It should be going to trucks instead of payroll.
So we're back on, Andy, your question of helping understand these transfer outlines, right?
yeah, that's it, so far I'm tracking. So now, so transfer out, WFD1, WFD2 are both maintenance on everything,
Yeah,
and transfer out capital projects. That's. It seems like such a broad heading for such a low number, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it means.
so let's,
It does, we don't have
I've
to,
got some grasp on how transfer out works. It's for departments that run their own budget. And then they give the Board of Finance their number, and the Board of Finance goes through it and decides what that number is going to be.
Correct.
And then they get that amount of money. Just so,
Correct. So the capital,
so, like, to my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't mean to step on you there. It's for like public works, we have all those freaking lines,
Mhm.
and then we adjust those under our budget, and then each line item is operated separately. but for like the library, the library says, we need $241,875, and we go, here's your $241,875, and then they spend it the way they tell the Board of Finance what they wanna do with the money, then we give them the money, and then they do
What they
what they
said
wanna
were
do with the
gonna
money.
They said, okay,
Whether they actually do it exactly the way they said they were gonna do it or not, that's up to them.
so I just, like capital project, so that's a vague heading, where all these other will seem quite specific.
Right. Capital projects, I believe, are like,
You just said
the ramp on the front of the building,
Oh, okay,
and, the floors upstairs in the common.
okay, all right, that's fine.
And, I don't know, that storage closet that we put in for the, registrars is a capital project or.
Then everything under CIP is a capital project,
Right.
but this is more specific to smaller items.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
All right. I think everything else, at least in my mind, is fairly,
So these are sort of like encumbered from our reserve, is that right?
No, they're just budgeted in as a line item, and then they go to that department.
and this is where the asks come from, as Board of Finance says, you need to come and ask for things.
Yeah. What are you looking at? Taylor?
I'm looking at transfer out RDS school project CIP, $1 million, and then $1,375,000.
That's gotta be the reserve. For the 1 million that they put in 2 years ago, the 1.5 million they put in last year. $500,000 and they're planning on putting in this year. I think it was $500,000. If I remember the plan correctly.
So that money is encumbered, that's where it has to go, right?
Yes.
We voted on this.
Yes,
Yes.
it has to go to schools and only schools. I lost that vote. Like 7-1.
What's this, so the line above it is transfer out RDS CIP. And that's gone up from 31,000, it looks like, to $1 million.
Yes. That goes to the town
Reserve.
reserve versus the school reserve.
So what, so line 040504 is, it says RES school project,
Correct.
is that? What is that? I don't understand.
That is going to the savings account for school projects.
So it's the same thing as the line previous.
No. This line is schools, this line is town.
They have the same number.
They have the same number. The reserve CIP is Old Town Hall. Town office building, Boy Scout Hall.
Salt shed.
Salt shed. Public Works building,
Oh, I see.
then RES school project is Hall and Center.
Got it. Thank you for that explanation.
The detail for this is gonna be, would be in the CIP plan. We don't have a CIP plan, right?
Not yet, they're working. We have last year.
We looked at last year.
Yeah, we looked at last year's line by line. Housing Authority, that's one that they send us a number, correct?
Yes, yes, and it's the same number every year. It's for the insurance directors and officers and their recording secretaries.
Got it. Compensated absences, I went up, went up by 5, is that because of,
Yes,
all right,
that's just to fully fund our liability.
got it. We want to be fully funded on our liability. The dog fund, that, so because we don't have our own animal control officer, we rent this. Is I a contract for one?
Share with the town staff.
Share with the town staff, we send Stafford money, they send us an ACO. Animal control is a problem statewide. And, regionalization works in some places, it doesn't work for other people. We are currently in talks with surrounding towns to see if we can reduce the number of employees, increase the amount of scheduled time with an employee covering. Reduce the number of facilities that we're paying upkeep on, reduce the number of vehicles we're paying for, reduce the amount remember when we were talking about dispatch?
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of every town paying what we pay for dispatch, we pay for dispatch and the other towns use our system. I mean, part of the reason that Stafford is so good to us, especially we're kind of good to them. We work it out. Bill calls and asks for stuff, I call Bill and ask for stuff,
1/3 increase in dispatch services seems exorbitant.
and it's going up. That's what I've heard, I haven't heard how much, I just heard that it's going up, and that some people are upset about how much it's going up, so it could be significant. Of course, some people are upset if it goes up at all, so. Human services. We are getting whacked on human services. You'll notice that it's up 42%. That's because they hired the senior center person with ARPA money, and the ARPA money has run out, so it's gonna be on town budget now.
It's exactly what they told us.
Yes. Yes, I understand that. I would like to explain it. I not figured that one out myself. Also, that includes the hour increase for our Colleen. And Colleen, I think that the other thing we have to remember about human services, and I just want to throw that out there, is that we are not a local town. We've got. Can't remember the number now. 14 or 18%,
13.6%.
living below the poverty line. Yeah. We've got some issues, and that's causing issues with our school system, it's causing all kinds of issues. Town-wide, and
I would say that 13.6% is also probably a lot of those people are homeowners that pay taxes.
yeah. And some of them are barely home. So,
Where's human services in this, I'm looking.
It's not. It's only on transfer out. So what human services does is they tell us how much they need, we give them the money, they spend it, it's not a line item. That's what all these transfer out things are. Where they take care of it themselves, kind of like the library, which has its own elected board. So they figure out how they need to spend their money.
But they are audited, right? They all fall under
Yes.
the audit.
Yes,
So we're not gonna be able to look at what that increase is. It's gone up by 100, they're requesting $118,000.
yes, but we can have Karen come in and ask her, but I know that's where the majority of that is for senior center coordinator and additional hours for her assistant. If I'm not mistaken, that's where a majority of that increase is coming from. Then the library. And then the regional district 19. And K-8 education are not our purview. Except that when it comes down that total budget line at the bottom. The town. I'm not saying this is right, I'm saying that this is, that they're looking at the total dollar increase in the total budget. And so if those go up significantly, then I think that what's gonna happen, we're all going to, if we don't come down some, then the total is gonna continue to soar, at which point we will have problems passing the referendum. which is
Unless-
my intentional goal, my intent is to pass a referendum. I'm not shooting for a specific number, I'm shooting for a number that will pass referendum. And then everybody has their own best guess at what that number is. And luckily we have a board of finance that gets to ponder that at great length. So that brings us to the end of this budget discussion for today, and we have a lot more numbers that we will continue to have these updates.
But going line by line, it doesn't seem that there's a lot of waste or unnecessary expenses. I don't.
No, I don't
Keep
feel
it down
like,
as it currently is, right?
right,
And if you were gonna, what happens when you run out of money, though? Where do you make those cuts? I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I don't either. You gotta ask people for their money, and then, yeah, I see that. Stephanie has an explanation. Non-school cap projects in the next several years, particularly the fire department, that's where that, remember, we're talking about those two lines. That fire department's where that big line's coming from for reserve funds. We have CIP, the only. For the Board of Finance and CIP, we have several public works. Requests primarily for engineering on. Village Hill or Schofield, I keep getting the two.
Yeah, because I don't remember what.
I don't travel them every day.
Keep thinking of Schofield.
All I know is that they're both very steep and both have major drainage problems for like the last 30 years. And what I would like them to do is do the engineering in a step process, so that if the town can't afford the entire project at once,
Right.
at least we can do something and start moving forward.
We can't apply for money until,
We have a plan. We do have some money. We have $2 million that the state has given us in a grant to fix the roads, Schofield and Village Hill. But the plan has to be done for one of them. One of them, the plan's done, the plan has to be done, completed for the other one before we can start spending that money.
so we have the plan for one done to apply.
We have to have the plan done for both to apply, one's already done. We gotta get the other one done, and I can't. And I know it's a big difference, so please don't crucify me on this, it's either 50,000 or 500,000, and I know there's a big difference. But it's got a 5 and a lot of zeros either way to get the engineering done.
You know what status is of that?
We have applied for the money to get the engineering done. That's, we are definitely on step 0.
So when would, if we project out, when would this, if we take into consideration the engineering that needs to get
2 years.
and the grant submission and the approval, when would that actually hit? When would we actually have to fund our portion of it?
We have to fund the engineering first.
Right.
Then we can spend the $2 million the state's already given us. Put a shovel. It's probably a $5 to $7 million project. So that's why I want it built in 5 parts, so that we can do parts 1 and 2. And then when we get more state money, 3, 4, and 5. Because then once we have that plan and the first part done, then it's really easy to apply for the steep grants. And the steep grants come $1 million in a shot. So if you can get $1 million and then $1 million and then $1 million, and then you know, after 4 or 5 years, you can finish the road.
We're working on that.
Yes. And that's part of the reason why we're upping the hours for Heather, because Heather is very good with that paperwork.
It's going to be help with paper.
At the last Emergency Services Facilities Building Committee, the chairman of the CIP asked if that committee could speak to any monies they might need to CIP.
Mhm.
And because the committee, ESFBC committee, said, since we simply are advisors to the Board of Selectmen, we don't really have any authority to do that. Are you comfortable with me
Yes,
in concert with the chiefs speaking
yes.
to the CIP about
I
monies
believe
might be
that
needed?
the CIP application process has ended.
Well, we
this
were
year?
invited to speak
All right, but you can
along with
speak,
the fire.
and you
department,
have,
yes.
you have money in CIP already, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I guess it's
You just
for
need to get
additional
hold of it.
monies for different
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
And one of the things that I brought up, and it's a little bit of a gray area and it will remain so, is a potential grant that Mike D'Amato applied for through the federal government
Mhm.
for a fire department building to the tune of those slightly, I think it was I'll just use $450,000. It is expected that that money will also be with a hook, just
It's
like
got a
you're
hook, yes.
speaking, where the town would have to spend some in order to get it. Now, there is a time frame.
And you have to include a
And you have
emergency
to
operations
plan,
center.
right, the emergency operations center is more or less what what the money surrounds. So with that, I'm not sure how to speak to it, but I wanna bring it up and just make it very clear. We haven't got the grant yet. We don't, I don't know if it's even fair to call it a grant, but we haven't got that money, so we don't know what the parameters are. We had a proposal that was generally accepted by the legislature that seemed to be moving through committees, but now there's quite a bit going on in Congress, and maybe they're not really paying attention to Lincoln's requests right at the moment. I don't know, but we haven't, silence was ominous, but it seems to be, at least to
Right,
me.
no,
But
I think that
I think in
people are
preparation,
struggling and
Yes.
watching.
but in preparation, I think that I just want to sort of get it as a placeholder that to say, hey,
Mhm.
if we did all of a sudden get money and say, oh yeah, you gotta spend another 450,000 to get the other one, we would want to do that.
Mhm.
So
I think that's another place for that line item that
Yeah.
we're
just gonna
discussing
bring it up. Yeah.
schools and
Yeah,
versus town and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
So I'm gonna speak to that and I will find out what CIP has to say about that. So if I have your permission and we're good to go.
Sure.
I forget, when is that CIP, 29th or something?
There's one,
29th,
CIP is this Wednesday.
yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right, very good.
All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
So moved.
Second and third, we're done. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, speaking of,